What's going on, everyone? It's Mike, it's John back again, and we've gone straight into it. He wasn't even expecting it. He's not prepped. He's not ready. He doesn't know what I've done. He's just like, what the fuck? I've just literally clicked the link and I'm live already. John, how you feeling?
No wonder your missus hates you because you come that quick.
Oh, mate. And do you know what? Well, do you know what's also scary is what you've caused. You've caused... I don't know what... you don't get the Blue Boys Network emails, but I had an email today from a company called Kraft, who own Cadbury's, and they said to me that they've sold out of flakes because everyone's microwaving them.
Just hang on a minute, I just need to shut something.
Yeah, hopefully his mouth. I love the fact that everyone peered into his bedroom there. We saw how much of a mess it is. His bed's not made. His curtains were wide.
No one can see the fucking bedroom because we've got a background.
No, they could see everything now when you open the curtains.
All right. See everything off your nan.
Wow, Jesus. He's more violence today. Anyway, talking about violence, Calvert-Lewin's been linked with Newcastle.
Good riddance. Sooner he goes, the better. They were your words to me, and I totally agree. Listen, the circus that has surrounded Dominic Calvert-Lewin, probably for the best part of 2 years now. You know, he's had a contract on the table. I think it's very well known. Probably for 15, 18 months, unsigned. The sooner he goes, mate, we can move on without him. We can move on without him. I think there was a stat. I seen a stat, and I think it was something like 50 league goals in 8 games or something like that, whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's not good enough, mate. And for someone who's asking for the wages that he's asking, thanks, but no thanks. See you later. Tottenham, Man United, and I think I see Newcastle are back in for him again. Wherever he goes, I wish him all the best. But we can push on without him, mate. We can do better than him.
Mate, I actually find it absolutely incredible that these teams still want to sign him. Like, I find it absolutely bonkers that, you know, a guy that has repeated injuries, doesn't score enough goals, is being linked with teams that could be playing Champions League and European football. Like, I just don't get it.
Can I just put in what you've just said? I'll probably get shot down in the comments for this. Listen, there is players out there who pretend they're injured and act and feign injuries. I'm starting to think, is he really as injured as what he is? The way David Moyes spoke at his press conference today, he was talking about he's back on the grass, but it's 3 weeks. But then we don't want to push him. David Moyes, I think, knows that Dominic Calvert-Lewin will not play for Everton again. He won't play for Everton again. And I think, I'm not going to say he's using the club like Ross Barkley did, because that would be going a bit too far. But he's not asked, mate. He's just not bothered. And I can't be doing with players like that for the position that Everton Football Club are in and the PSR restrictions that we've had in the past, going into a brand new stadium, still got to be a bit careful with PSR. And he's acted the way he does. And I might be completely wrong here by saying this, but I just don't think he wants to play for the football club. I really, really don't. When you've been at a club for 8 years, Michael, we've seen a bit of Idrissa Gueye over 2 spells. He gets the club. He loves the club. He loves the fans. The club get him. Can you honestly sit there now, hand on heart, and say, after 8 years, Dominic Calvert-Lewin gets Everton? Because I can't.
No, I don't think I can either. I think he gets moments, but I think every footballer will have a moment. You know, like we all have moments. So yeah, I don't disagree with that. You moved quite nicely onto another player that might not play for Everton again as well, which is Jesper Lindstrm, who's had surgery on a hernia. Moyes saying he might be back towards the end of the season, but if I'm being honest, he's not going to be fit enough at that point. I don't mean this to sound as bad as it's going to sound, but I wish Jesper healthy recovery and all of those things, and I wish him luck in the rest of his career. But if that is the end of his Everton career, it has not been glitz, glamour, or fantastic. And before we signed him, all of the thing was about him being a set piece expert. My God. My God.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we'll see Jesper Lindstrm in a blue shirt again, in my opinion. And listen, we can't really sit here and say he even deserves another 12-month loan when he gets over his injury to see how he'll do. For me, he's nowhere near shown enough to be even thought about another loan deal. He's shown nothing. I don't think he's good enough as a footballer for the Premier League. And as I keep saying, I'm excited about the future with this club going forward, with new owners, a new ground. David Moyes is here. Jesper Lindstrm has not shown enough for me to be part of that. Nowhere near it.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely agreed. I just don't. I can't. You know, like when you look at a player and you think, "Oh, he's had a good game." I actually can't think of a single game where I've gone. Jesper Lindstrm was man of the match, or Jesper Lindstrm did really well, or Jesper Lindstrm did something. I think I might have said he's had a good half an hour against someone on as a sub, and I can't remember the team it was.
Do you know when you say that, like, he's had a good half? I can't even remember that. You know, when you notice players, like, you talk about Jack Harrison. Here's an example. You talk about Jack Harrison, right? Being fit for Everton, in my opinion. He hasn't been consistent enough. He hasn't been good enough. But there was that one goal he scored from outside the box where it sort of hit the underside of the bar and went in. So we've seen one flash of brilliance from Jack Harrison. When you talk about Jesper Lindstrm, on the minutes he's played for Everton and the amount of times we've seen him, I can't think of anything where I've gone, yeah, he's done well there. Or, you know, he's beat a man there, he's created a chance. That was unlucky. I haven't seen one glimpse of Jesper Lindstrm to tell me that Everton were right to bring him in on loan. I just don't see anything from him.
Yeah, agreed. Other piece of news: Everton look like they're going to be offering the Idrissa Gueye a new deal.
Yeah.
Me and you, we don't. Me and you have agreed on this. He definitely gets another deal. But you know what I'd actually do, Rod? Because he has been good for Everton, and I think I'd offer him a deal where he gets the year, but then we do have an option for a second one. Instead of every single year going, oh, will he stay? Oh, look how important he was last season. Look how important he is this season. The guy doesn't look like he's slowing down. So give us the option whether we want to keep him and not him, for example. So for me, I'll give him a 1-year deal with the option to extend for another year. And then that, without sounding horrible, that is probably the end of Garner at Everton.
We see players like Garner Gueye where I've said it many times on here, from the first whistle to the 90th minute, he's covering every blade of grass. I even said it on the last video we done, he's probably one of the best ball carrying midfielders we've got.
Yeah.
Out of all the players that we've spoke about on here, who are out of contract and who are on loan, who we wouldn't want anywhere near the club going into next season, he's the one, more than anything, that I want to see him dot the I's and cross the T's. And you're quite right with what you say. In that contract put the option of another year, then you're not held to nothing then. But what you get with the likes of them sort of players, Michael, all of a sudden, bang, they just lose it. They just lose it because that year older makes such a difference to a player like Idrissa Gueye. But you're right in what you say. No problem giving him a 1 year with the option of another. And as I said before, out of all the players, mate, he'd be the one who I'd be working the most hardest on to get him to sign that contract for another year.
Again, all of these are moving lovely onto each other. So the other one, there's been a couple of players linked to Way, and Jared Branthwaite was asked. Well, David Moyes was asked a question about Jared Branthwaite today about, seeing him leave and whatever. And David Moyes come out and basically said, look, he's got 2+1 years left on his contract. We're in the driving seat. We've asked this a few times, but do you think he'll leave? Like, what percentage are you that he'll leave?
I think it's 70-30 he stays. I think he gives us one more season to see how we do. Listen, he's under contract until 2027. So, as you're quite right with what you say, and you quoted David Moyes, Everton holds all the cards. If you want Jared Branthwaite, which, in my opinion, will become an England regular, he will become Everton captain if he stays long enough. I think he's probably one of the most talented English centre-halves in the Premier League. So we haven't got to sell for silly money now. We're restricted by PSR a bit, but not to the point where we have to sell, in my opinion, our most saleable asset.
Yeah.
Bar none. I think he gives us another year in Bramley-Moore, a full season with David Moyes, a pre-season with David Moyes, to see how the team does. If he gives us that and we don't live up to his expectations and a team comes in for him and offers the right money, then we've got to wish him good luck, haven't we? Because I think if Everton are performing to the standards that he wants and the progress that he wants this team to make, probably top 10, knocking on the door for the Conference League, Europa League. If we don't get to them heights next season, then you've got to understand why he would want to move on. And we've got to give him that credit for that. But I think he gives us one more season.
Yeah. Another player linked with a sensational move away today, by several clubs being linked with him and approaching Everton, is Beto. Now, how much money would you want for Beto to be sold, or would you want as taxi fare to drive him somewhere?
See, the thing is, I don't know whether that £30 million that we owed the club that he come from has been paid. I don't know what sort of deal's in place for that. Listen, Beto showed us glimpses, and we spoke about this on here, that he went through a purple patch. So we know he's capable of scoring one-on-ones. He puts himself about. We've seen that in the derby. Canate and Van Dijk that night were up for the game, and Beto gave them it. I think he gives more than what Dominic Calvert-Lewin does. I'd like to see Beto stay for one more season, but we still need a centre forward. So you can take your pick. Does Chimiti go out on loan and Beto stays, or do we work harder with Chimiti to get him up to speed, full speed for the Premier League, give him a good go next season and say goodbye to Beto? I don't know. Up front for us, when you look at it in hindsight, we've got the player who we spoke about at the beginning of the video, gonna go, not bothered. Beto is not everyone's cup of tea. I can take him or leave him. I think we need to see more of Chimiti. So up front is a big, big question that hangs over Everton Football Club in the summer, in my opinion. And I've said it on here many, many times. For me, it's the most important part of this team that really, really needs looking at and strengthening, because we haven't got enough goals up there. Whether Beto and Chimiti stay, do they guarantee you enough goals to push it on? Probably not. No, they don't. So if someone comes in with a silly offer for Beto, whatever that may be, I think it probably cost us 30 million. If someone offers you 20-25 million pound for Beto, do you cut your losses and think you can get someone for that much money who's better than than Beto, and I think there is players out there who probably are.
Mate, I wouldn't even take just 20 million. I'd take less, to be honest. But yeah.
The only reason why I said that is because it's not long ago that we paid £30 million for him.
Yeah. Mate, I get it. And the thing is, in other leagues, he'll have that Premier League experience now. He'll go to other leagues and he'll be a better player. But
one thing we can't knock Beto for is his, is his work rate and his attitude towards the team, and he wants to give it his all. And I always mention on this channel about blood, sweat, and tears when you come off that pitch. He does give us all for that shirt, Michael, and you can't say he doesn't.
Yeah.
And there's other centre forwards at the club who we spoke about again, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who doesn't do that.
Last one. Moyes was asked a question today about Coleman. And the quote was, "I like Seamus to stay because I want him around the club if possible. I think he's a great ambassador for our team. Also, he can still play and hopefully will play."
I don't think you get many minutes out of Seamus Coleman now. Again, it's another problem position for us because we've got Seamus Coleman and the manager's coming out with quotes like that. How old Seamus now? Is he 35?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. You've got Ashley Young, who's filled in at right back. Another one who's out of contract. What happens with him? And then you've got Nathan Patterson, who, again, I'll probably get shot down for this. People have a lot of opinions on Nathan Patterson. I don't think he's good enough for the Premier League, in my opinion. I know he had a good game against Arsenal at left back, but overall, from where this club needs to be going, I don't think Nathan Patterson's good enough. So it's another problem position at right back. Seamus Coleman, if we give him another 12-month contract, 1-year contract, possibly fill in if he's fit in cup games. If we have games where we've got 2 games in a week, you could probably throw him in the odd one. But more for me, I want Coleman to stay for the coaching side of it, because I think he brings a lot of experience. And we've seen quotes from players, Illiman and Dye, for example, Chimiti, Coleman speaking to them players every day about making them better. I know it's a different position, but he's trying to G them up and fill them with confidence and give them the boot up the arse that they might need. But it's also, he asks about their family life. And, Seamus Coleman is a brilliant, brilliant ambassador for this football club for as long as he's been here. And I think he deserves possibly another 12-month contract, but more so on that side of it for a coaching role.
Yeah, I wouldn't give him a playing contract personally, but I would give him a contract as a coach. And the only thing I have with what Everton do with former players is that they get some form of job with the club, they become ambassadors, they become coaches, and we've seen it. Leighton Baines, Jose Baxter, we've had people on the board, Sharpie, whoever, right? Sharp's probably an exclusion to what I'm about to say. But none of the people that have been in positions in the coaching department, in the educating the kids, none of them have won anything. And I just think Everton, if you're going to become winners, you've got to have winners throughout this team. And I'm not saying they weren't talented footballers, and I'm not saying they're not great coaches. I'm not saying any of that. But sometimes mentality means you win by winning, just by doing the whatever you need to do to get there. And I just don't know if some of these people have that.
Well, it takes me back to the jobs for the boys, doesn't it? Listen, as you quite rightly say, Graham Sharp won stuff for Everton in the 80s and the 90s. Snods was lucky enough to win something. Graham Stewart was part of a 1995 FA Cup final team, which we won. But then you mentioned Jose Baxter, Tony Grant being, I think, on the coaching staff for a while as well. We had James Vaughan, recently left the club. When you've got when you keep giving jobs for the boys who don't really deserve it, then I think the club needs to move on now from that. But another exception for me is I think Seamus Coleman has deserved to still be around the club because of the service he's give us. He gets Everton. His kids are Everton fans. He's become an Everton fan. He loves the city. He's become a Blue. With the exception, I think Seamus Coleman should be kept on in some capacity just for a thank you. And I know I've just said about jobs for the boys, but I will say it again. He's an exception.
Yeah, I'm not saying people don't deserve it. Like, I am not sitting here saying Jose Baxter or Leighton Baines, whoever else you've just mentioned, James Vaughan. They may be fantastic coaches, player developers, recruiting team, whatever their job is. They might be absolutely brilliant. They might be. I don't know.
Well, they're not that good because when was the last time we seen much youth in the team?
Well, I mean, that's a great comment, great comeback. But the other thing I'd say is none of them have won anything. So what conversations do they have? And you've just hit the nail on the head in terms of playing. But what conversations do they have with these kids about winning the younger FA Cup? I mean, 6 or 7 years ago, we were doing something right because we were winning the under-18s Premier League or the under-21s. We were doing well. And none of those players made it. None of those players made it. I think Tom Davies might have been an exception, and no disrespect, that didn't end well. So I don't know, mate. I'm on the fence about all of this. I semi feel like, and this is where we're going to be going. You know, the Friedkin group, they're just going to want people who they know can guarantee are doing the job. It's why they brought in David Moyes. They knew he weren't going to get this Everton team winning the league, but he knows he'll make us safe and he'll push us forward. And that is what I think, bless you, is what I think he probably does with the rest of the team.
But we need winners, mate. The Friedkin group are going to want winners more than anything. And that's the whole top and bottom of it. Get rid of the jobs for the boys, bring people in who know what they're talking about, can pass their winning mentality experience on from the bottom to the top people in the club. Bring people in who are winners, who know what it feels like to lift trophies, to win stuff, even if it be at a youth level, you know. And since they've won things, they've coached other kids and other youth players and developed them. That's what we need at this club, from however age it starts, from the under-8s right through to the first team. We need winners, and we need people with the right mentality to bring them winners through.
Spot on. Well, guys, look, we are going to leave it there. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. As John said, he's at Forest tomorrow. I am also at Forest tomorrow, but don't say hello to me until the game. Fucking hell. The love has been fantastic. So thank you all for your support and your love as always. And look, we'll see you for the match. Well, yeah, I mean, John's probably going to be on the coach, bless him, but I will see you for the match reaction. And we'll then do the debrief on Sunday. So, yeah, all good. Right, guys, keep smiling. Up the toffees. I'm about to mow my grass. Peace.